Today's copywriting lesson is going to be a bit different. We're going to look at the words that have allowed us to witness this genocide.
This is about the monsters who run our country, language and rhetoric. First of all, please go watch Savannah's video. She's a copywriter who gives writing advice, but her most recent videos have all been about how journalists and politicians manufacture consent for genocide using language. They're the best explanations I've seen anywhere. Watch them all. I'm going to get to the monsters part, but the first thing you need to know is that language is important. They know it's important, and they want us not to know. Ever wonder why they're so desperate to get Humanities department shut down? It's not just because they want a bunch of workers. It's certainly not that they actually think the humanities are worthless. They will keep doing it. They'll keep studying English literature, philosophy, politics, critical analysis. And it's because they know how important it is. And they're terrified that us plebs have access to it too, because those are the places you learn rhetoric. And when you understand rhetoric, you have two great advantages. You can sway people to your side, and you can see when other people are trying to do that to you. Our whole information ecosystem runs on emotion, urgency, fear, pride, not rationality. And sadly, it's effective. It's why debates don't work, and why giving people facts on their own doesn't work. You need narrative. More than anything, humans need narrative to process the world around us. Very few people change their opinions based on bland percentages. They change opinions based on appeals to values. That's what gets taught in the humanities. How words, music, art, film, all kinds of media are used to make you feel something. How they're used to make you see the world in certain ways. Once you know how to recognize the patterns, it's easier to resist. It's not a magic cure. We're all susceptible to propaganda, however smart and educated we are. Sometimes more so in that case, because smart people are able to rationalize instinctive reactions much quicker. But it does help. So what does this have to do with monsters? Eton. A single private school has vomited out 1 in 3 British prime ministers, archbishops, national newspaper editors, Supreme Court justices, military leaders, lords, A-list actors, Olympic medalists, and of course, the heir to the throne. And this is the entrance exam from 2011 for boys aged around 13 to 14. I had to check multiple times when I first saw it, but it's on Eton's website. To find out if you're cut out for the school which shapes the powerful in every sphere in Britain, this is what they ask you. The year is 2040. There have been riots in the streets of London after Britain has run out of petrol because of an oil crisis in the Middle East. Protesters have attacked public buildings. Several policemen have died. Consequently, the government has deployed the army to curb the protests. After 2 days, the protests have been stopped, but 25 protesters have been killed by the army. You are the Prime Minister. Write the script for a speech to be broadcast to the nation, in which you explain why employing the army against violent protesters was the only option available to you, and one which was both necessary and moral. Please note it doesn't give you any details about whether the shootings were necessary or moral. It just asks you, a 13-year-old boy, to come up with a justification which will pacify the masses, to use language to make the unacceptable somehow acceptable. That's what it takes to be part of the political, legal, media, military and religious elite in the UK. The language those same people are using now to justify genocide is trained into them. They learn it at school like the rest of us learn calculus. There's a reason we're not taught that. There's a reason they want us to stop learning it at university. So learn it however you can. Savannah's videos are a great place to start.